I'm Miss Pierce, and I'm going to be going over some information on student finance for when your son or daughter is going off to university, and so you are a little bit more aware of some of the student finance opportunities. Now, what you need to do is to go onto the government website and actually find out, what you are eligible for, and the login details are here. Now, in terms of support for finance when students at university, there are two main costs that they're going to incur. Firstly, tuition fees, and then secondly, living costs. In terms of accommodation, it might be transport, it might be equipment for books, food in terms of that living costs. And there is help for both of those areas. Now, it does depend on your circumstances and where you study and what course you're going to study, and it does change from university to university. So it's really important that you and your children do the necessary work in terms of finding out exactly what institution they're applying to and what conditions there are. Now, you can get grants and bursaries, which you actually don't have to pay back, and then the loans come under tuition fees and living costs. So there are three main conditions that you have to qualify to gain student finance, and it is obviously where you live and your personal circumstances and the course that you're actually studying. Now, I do want to make it aware that you do have to be a lawful resident in England, and that you have had to live in England for 3 years to ensure that you are applicable to have this student finance. If there is any issues with any of this, then please do come and see myself or Miss Rodin. So like I said, the main area of the loan is tuition fees, and there's not much difference between university to university on how much that is. And then maintenance support, and then there are some other areas where you can gain extra financial support, and universities do offer different bursaries and scholarships. Now, most universities will charge new full-time students up to £9,250 per year in tuition fees. Now, no university is expecting these fees to be, you don't have to pay them up front. All right, they will come through as a loan from the government, and you actually don't have to pay this back until your income is over £25,000, and you have up to 30 years to pay off these tuition fees. Now, in terms of the maintenance loan, it does depend on whether you're living at home and then going to university. It might be that you're living somewhere else. You might be living in halls of residence, or you might be living in a local flat or house, but studying outside London where the living costs are generally lower. Or it might be that you are living in London and studying in London, but not at home. And so there's three different levels of funding that you can get. Now, all of these maintenance loans are actually kind of means tested in terms of overall household income. So, if you were £25,000 or less as your household income, you would be eligible for the top end of those maintenance loans. And obviously you can see they're dependent on what your household income is to the different parts of the loan that you are able to get. Now, there are also additional financial support that you can get, and they are dependent on different universities, and some universities do actually reward students for gaining good grades from their A-levels, But again, this is something that we don't want the students to be dictated by. Obviously, it would be, absolutely brilliant if they were given maybe a bursary of £2,000 towards their tuition fees. So yeah, quite a few different universities do have some specific bursaries and grants, and those you don't have to pay back. They're not loans. So yeah, you can actually go onto that student finance website, and you can there's a student finance calculator where you can put in your own circumstances and where you think you're going to study, and then you will have an idea of the annual payments that the government will be giving you, and then obviously the timeline of when you then have to pay back that money. You do kind of have to look at it in terms of, it's not the same as other types of loan, that as soon as you are earning over £25,000, that you would then start paying the loan back in monthly instalments. There is a very, very good information pack, and I have given you the link here. But if there is anything that you are unsure about, or that you want to discuss in more detail, to help your son or daughter in terms of understanding when they're going to university, then please don't hesitate to get in contact with me. Thank you.